This is Ryan Elliott for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Let me joined by the Romford Bull, Johnny Fisher. Johnny, been a while. How are you, mate?
Hello, Ryan. I hope you're well. I'm all good, mate. All ticking along, going nicely.
That's good to hear. Now, obviously, since your last fight, we were just talking off camera. You've been on your travels a little bit. We've seen you go to Mexico and Spain, unwinding a little bit. And I know in your last couple of fights, you've been carrying injuries and stuff like that. Was this just a much-needed break away from boxing?
Yeah, definitely. It was nice to go away with brothers to Mexico. I don't drink. I don't go out partying, but it was just nice to relax and tag along with my brothers and enjoy the sun and enjoy some nice food. I needed the break. It's been 5 fights in 1 year, is a lot to do, and with the little niggles I've been carrying, it was nice just to let the body rest.
That's it. It feels like the momentum you had, it just kept rolling and rolling. We've seen you so active, and we've seen the ticket sales going like this, and this has it moved a bit quicker than even you anticipated?
Oh yeah, I didn't. When I had my debut and won that debut back in February 2021, I didn't anticipate we'd be to where we are now. I was just grateful to be on such a big platform like Matchroom, but the support that we've got has been unbelievable, and the wins have kept coming in, and we're just building slowly. But it's good that I've had this little bit of respite now, because I can reflect on what's happened, and now we can assess and be ready to go for chapter 2. That's how I'm thinking of it. That's chapter 1 done, the first 5 fights. We're in chapter 2 now, and there's new challenges coming.
As I mentioned, you'd been carrying these hand injuries and these niggles going into your last couple of fights and fights you've done a lot of tickets for. And how is the body feeling now, and how are the hands now?
Yeah. Well, it was before the Torero fight. I felt there was something like a little niggle, which just felt like something I could sort of get over. I spoke to my physio. I had a little bit 3 weeks before the fight. I started thinking my hand's something not right here, and I knew something wasn't right. But I spoke to my physio, JW Physio, shout out to him, and he just put my mind at rest. He said, "Look, it's just a bit of pain. You can deal with that pain. You can get through it." And he got me through it. Gave me some great treatment. I had my hands wrapped really well for that fight as well, and I got through it and got the victory. And then it was more in the second sort of camp, leading up to that, just overusing it, hitting the pads really hard, hitting the bags really hard, 10-ounce gloves. And that's a bit down to my inexperience. Like, I look at the old pros and people who've been around the block. They don't smash their hands to bits in training. They relax, and they have a nice rhythm to what they're doing. So I've learned from that, and it's just an accumulation. I've been to the doctor. I've got a little splint on it, and he said it's just an overuse injury. Just keep using it. You've developed a little stress fracture. Just keep resting it, and you'll be right as rain. It's whether you want to keep going now, have injections in it, and keep it. Or do you want to be in it for the long game? And I want to be in it for the long game. So I'm making the right decision now to rest it while I've got time and go from there.
Going back to the Nguema fight, it was a fight you were cut in very early. I think it was actually the first round, and dealing with that new experience, dealing with going into a fight with little injuries here and there as well. How much did you learn from that experience overall?
I learned so much from that fight. Nguema, I have no doubts about it, was an experienced campaigner. It's quite a deceiving record he had, really, because he's been in with some top names, went the distance with Rivas, and it was a tough test, to be honest, for my 5th fight. But it's tests like that are going to develop me. Well, I haven't had the amateur background. I'm learning and gaining experience on the job, and I'll guarantee you that one fight has given me a lot more experience than the previous 4 fights. So although it was sticky with the cut and the little niggle in my hand, that affected me for the second round. I caught it in the second round funny, and ever since that I was sort of winging it round because I was trying to catch it on the end part of my hand. But all experience that I've gained, and I've gone 6 rounds, which is going to be valuable moving forward as well. So a tough opponent, but great progress for me to be made in that fight.
It's interesting you say that phase 1 is now over and we're looking at phase 2. What is the plan for phase 2? When are you going to be back, and what kind of level does phase 2 involve?
Yeah, so I'm hoping I'll be back in like July time. I'd love to get on a fight camp card for a summer fight. What is good about it is it's giving me that time to rest. But as you said, it's now phase 2. What sort of level opponents am I going to have? I don't know. That's up to Matchroom and my managers. I develop and I have the diet of fighters and the route that they suggest, because I have full trust in Matchroom. I have full trust in SJAM to match me correctly. For me, my job is just to go in there and fight. And I know I trust the people that I've got around me to make the right decisions. I don't think too far ahead anyway. All I think about is what's gone. That's done now. And now it's just about the next fight. Who is it? When is it? And how are we going to prepare?
Eddie's talked about wanting to take you and your fans over to the US in the near future. Is that something that's high on your priority list as well?
Oh, I'd love to have the opportunity to go out to America and fight in Las Vegas. Maybe that's something we could do towards the end of the year. And for someone in my position, I'm very lucky to be in the position I'm in. I've worked hard, yes, and I've passed the tests that have been put in front of me. But to even be speaking of the opportunity of going to America as a fight, I feel very privileged. But it's up to me to do the jobs first to get to that stage, and hopefully we won't be too far away.
One thing I wanted to ask you about, I saw on your Instagram, you'd been doing sparring with Eddie Hall prior to his fight recently. Yeah. I know Eddie Hall was someone you had a great deal of admiration for. What was that like for you?
Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. I've watched Eddie Hall when I was a kid, when I was like 14, 15-year-old. I just thought what a character he is. And it was just surreal. I was driving up there and I was thinking to myself, it was similar. I know Tyson Fury is obviously a completely different kettle of fish and he's the pinnacle. And that was a surreal feeling. And then it was also a surreal feeling the way to be sparring Eddie Hall, because he's one of my childhood heroes, really. And such a nice man, great facilities at his house. He's got a great little setup in his actual house, like a gym and a load of recovery stuff. And it was great to just share the ring with him, because I'm a massive fan at the end of the day. It's a shame about his result, but with a few tweaks, I think he's definitely got the power to do some more damage. And I reckon he could beat Ford in a rematch with some proper training.
So I was going to ask you about, it was what it was. They're both fairly new to boxing and both spent years and years sitting down for this fight. Entertaining. We saw them both touch down. Did you watch? What did you make of it?
Well, I was having an interview with TalkSport as the fight was going on just before I went in. I just saw glimpses of it. And as you said, it's entertainment. They've both got huge fan bases. And if people want to watch it, that's brilliant. And they're too big. It's the heaviest boxing match in history. They're two big lumps and they're both knocked each other down. It's entertaining. It was an entertaining fight. As you said, it is what it is. It's not high-level boxing, but it's entertainment. And if people want to watch it again, I'm sure they'll do it again, because there's little tactical changes Eddie can make. And I think he can, just simple stuff like throwing a few more jabs to the body, a few more feints, disguising that right hand a little bit more. And I think he's got the beating of for.
Obviously, big time for the heavyweights right now. Wembley Stadium's going to have itself a WBC heavyweight title fight next week. Tyson Fury and Dillian-Whyte finally looks like it's going to go ahead. You've been around Tyson. We've seen him kind of evolve to this Kronk style. We've seen him in the past on the back foot at times. What Tyson Fury do you think we're going to see against Dillian?
I think we're going to see Tyson with that new Kronk style is to go for the knockout. So I hope we see more of that for the fans. We want to watch that. And I think he's going to have to, because Dillian-Whyte's not going to get involved in the boxing match. He's going to go for a tear-up. That might play into Tyson Fury's hand a bit. But I think the best Tyson Fury we've seen is the most recent one, who's boxed aggressively, who's taken care of what he's doing, but he's going for the knockout, which is great.
I was going to ask you about Dillian as well, because a lot of people seem, like you're saying, seem to cite his aggression going in this fight. Do you think his best chance is to just take it to Tyson Fury and try and make this a shootout?
Yeah, I think he's got to take it to him, but it doesn't mean he's going to be reckless in the way he takes it to him. It means being educated and applying pressure, not sitting back, because if he does sit back, he's going to be in trouble. I think back to fights like when Fury fought Derek Chisora, just picking. Dillian-Whyte's got to be aggressive, and he's got the ability to do that, and he's got his power of his own in that left hook, so he's in a great position to do it. And it's going to be, whatever happens, it's going to be an exciting fight for the fans, and it's going to be a packed out record attendance at Wembley.
Another fight that's been talked about, we're kind of waiting to hear it finalised. Joe Joyce, your S-Jam stablemate, is potentially fighting Joyce-Parker in London. What do you make of that as a matchup?
It's a great matchup. Obviously, Joe Parker's worked his way back in after the defeat to Joshua in 2017. He's worked his way back in, a good performance, impressive performance against Chisora. And Joe's been knocking on the door for a while now. Great wins over Dubois and Carlos Takam. And they're both at that sort of, that top 10 position in the heavyweights, and they're aiming to be at where Joshua or where Fury and Usyk are. So them to have a match off, and then one of them can fight one of the champions.
Before I let you go, Johnny, there's something I want to ask you about. Occasionally when I'm going through social media, keeping an eye on things in my job, I'll be going through TikTok, and I see your family on there all the time. Obviously, things for Big Johnny's doing nightclub appearances and stuff like that. Now, what's that like for you, seeing this rise and rise, and the level of fame he's got in this country now? There he is.
It's a bit surreal, really. Going into these nightclubs, he's just here having a bit of dinner. Obviously, he's having some food, but you're walking in and your dad's just being cheered for saying bosh. And they just go absolutely crazy for him. We've been Bournemouth, Bristol, Oxford, Exeter. Where else have we been? Reading. Been all over. Bournemouth. He's got Cambridge this week, Leeds. So it's just we're just soaking it all in. We don't know how long it's going to last, but it's a great experience, and it's a once in a lifetime thing. So we're just enjoying it, and who knows how long it will last. If people want to see him and want him to come and make an appearance, then so be it. It's entertainment.
Absolutely. Well, Johnny, thank you so much for speaking to Boxing Social. I'm sure we'll catch you when you got some fight news.